There's lots of terminology that you'll come across when using Revit, and I'd like to take a moment to briefly go over a few important terms. So, in Revit, a building information model is stored in what's called a project file. Every floor plan, elevation view, drawing sheet, and schedule is contained in the same project file, and they all draw their information from the same building information model database. Because all of this information is maintained in one file, this makes it much easier to manage and make changes to the project, and it ensures that a change made in one area of the project gets propagated to the rest of the documents where appropriate. You create a Revit project by adding things called elements to it. An element is simply a component or model item of some sort. These can be anything from model elements like walls, doors, and windows, datum elements, like grid lines or reference planes, or annotation elements and details like notes, dimensions, and detail lines. Elements are organized and sorted using a hierarchical system. The properties of an element are also determined by this same hierarchy. Elements are organized into groups called categories. Now, a category is a group of elements with similar properties and functionality. Okay? For example, all of the walls in Revit are grouped into the walls category. The same applies for doors, windows, columns, and so forth. Each category is further organized into families. A family is simply a subgroup which further sorts the elements in a category into more specific groups based on a property. For instance, the doors category is broken up into double flush doors and single flush door families. Each family contains a couple different types of element, oftentimes differentiated only by dimensions. The element type determines most of the properties of the element. Within the single flush door family, you can choose a 30-inch by 80-inch door type or a 36-inch by 84-inch door type, among others. These doors will have identical type properties other than the dimensions and consequently are grouped into the same Revit family. So type properties are really useful when you're placing more than one instance of the same element into a design and want them to have different properties. As I just mentioned, each time you place an element in Revit, you placed what's referred to as an instance of the element. If you have multiple elements of the same type, such as more than one 30-inch by 80-inch single flush door, you still have the ability to change the properties of one individual instance, overriding the type properties of the element. So, if you have 15 doors of the same type and you want to change the properties of just one door, you can edit the properties for just that instance, and the changes will only affect that one individual element. Got it? Good. If this is still confusing, don't worry too much. These relationships will make much more sense as you begin working on a project and adding elements into it.